Hi, y'all. How's everybody doing? Welcome in, replay crew. I love you guys. It's always nice to get comments on the replay. So please feel free to leave me a comment about what you think about human rights in and out of Scientology. What human rights mean. How do we make sure people have access to their human rights? How do we really bring this idea? Guys, I still got a freaking shadow. I do not know what to do about this. It's just maybe that's a little better. Still working on getting the lighting set up. Sorry, I get right in your face. Still getting used to this setup. The camera's kind of close. I suppose I could move it further away. That's interesting. So I thought it's interesting. Scientology has this whole website about human rights. And all of these human rights are referencing back to the United Nations. Hi, Cricket. The United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights, right? And they're just paraphrasing them. It's on this website. If you guys want to look and follow along. How are you doing, Cricket? It's good to see you. What's new and different? So that link takes you to a bunch of videos that y'all aren't going to watch, right? Takes you to a bunch of videos. If you scroll down, you can look at public service announcements. On all the different, on all of these 30 different human rights. I didn't mean to click on that. We're not going to watch those right now. That's what Eleanor Roosevelt worked on. Well, the thing is, Scientology, I thought they'd come up with their own. I don't know what I was thinking, because I knew there was a Universal Declaration of Human Rights, but I really, really did not think that Scientology would just wholesale, and they didn't wholesale import it. So I guess I wanted to talk today about what human rights are, what they mean, and I guess as individuals, what's our responsibility in upholding human rights? Or are these just human rights that apply to the state? In which case, you know, Scientology is just being hypocritical by posting them all. So what's interesting to me first is there's 30 of these human rights, and it took 8 pages. It took 8 pages to print them all out. But Scientology has got them all paraphrased in one page. But I think their wording for each of these rights is really questionable, and that's weird. For example, Article 4 of the Universal Human Rights Declaration says no one, well, for Scientology, what it says is no slavery. Just no slavery. In the United Nations paperwork, it says no one shall be held in slavery or servitude. Slavery and the slave trade shall be prohibited in all of their forms. And they do a similar thing in number 5. On the Scientology website, it just says no torture. Can you guys see that? No slavery, no torture. But Article 5 in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights says no one shall be subjected to torture or to cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. So again, through this slimy wording, they're not saying no cruel, inhumane, or degrading treatment or punishment. They're just saying no torture. So I think it's really interesting that they've adopted the language while also changing it, if that makes any sense. Does that make sense, Cricket? Am I making any sense at all? Let me know. I'm slowly sort of kind of getting situated into this back corner with my new office. Slowly getting situated in here, but I still don't have everything that I need. I don't remember to bring everything I need. So, like, I don't have my mouth lozenges. Though maybe there might be one in one of these drawers, but we're not going to go look at that right now. My, you guys are slow today. I wonder if it's just because it's a Tuesday. Yes, if you look at that whole effort as an example of safe pointing, it's more about leaving an impression with the public than an actual detailed thought about human rights. Exactly. Exactly. So it seems to me, as I go through these 30 articles in the Declaration, that every one of them Scientology is completely opposed to. They definitely engage in servitude, right, Cricket? I don't know. It's just Scientology says they believe in these and they stomp all over them. And in part, Scientology stomping all over these rights, that is part of the reason that many of us are protesting, right? It's the inhumane conditions. It's the servitude. It's the inhumane treatment. It is the lack of dignity. It is the lack of equality. It is the arbitrariness of it all. It is the right to freedom of thought, right? All these things come directly out of are directly implicated in this Declaration of Human Rights. That Scientology is saying that they uphold. Sunrise Dawn! How are you doing, sweetheart? How was open house for your little girl? It has been slow as molasses in January in here today, but Cricket is keeping company, which is always nice. I love Cricket's company. How is hubby doing, Sunrise? I hope that things are settling down with that as well. So I want to talk about these in groups because there's too many of them. Turning trauma into a weapon, stealing people's money, physical abuse, labor trafficking. Exactly, Cricket. You like her teachers so far? Oh, excellent, Sunrise Dawn. Hello, Janelle. How are you? I'm glad it was nice. I remember back to those days. Grade school open houses. I miss those times. I miss them a lot. Yeah. Busy as a damn bee? That's good, Janelle. He was having some trouble with his throat, so now you have to go see an ENT. Well, that'll be good. But that'll be good. You're going to go see him. Boy, you guys, the shadow is really bad. It's this side of my face. I don't know what. I got nothing I can do about that. Maybe I can do something about that. Do you guys care? Do you want me to fix the shadow on my face? I might be able to fix the shadow on my face. Maybe. Have a 5 o'clock shadow against. No, this half. This half of my face. My goodness. You also went to your parents'. Oh boy, oh boy. Okay, Janelle. You went to your parents to celebrate your birthday. Your birthday is tomorrow, but your oldest daughter can't come down tomorrow. Happy early birthday, Sunrise. That is excellent. It doesn't bother you? Okay, you guys. Then I will leave it be. I will not fuss over it. I will not fuss over it. So I want to spend some time going over this Declaration of Human Rights because Scientology uses it as a safe pointing. I mean, I want to look at how it is. Ah, there you go, Cricket. Hey, Orion. Come here. Orion. Orion. I might have to get up anyway, guys. Orion, come on. Okay. Scientology obviously thinks that these human rights are important to look good. Orion, come here. Come here. Come on. Come here. Come here. Come here. Oh my goodness, you guys. Muscadine. Muscadine is lovely. Cotton candy wine. Yeah. Well, it's not set up yet, Janelle. So I am just trying with throwaway options. Come here. Come here, puppy. Come here. Okay, that's a good boy. I can't wait to hear how it is, Sunrise Dawn. That sounds tantalizing or disgusting, and I can't really determine which one it is right now. So is this something you guys are interested in talking about? I'm just really curious. What does the Church of Scientology find so important about these, and are they something that we believe we should be held to? What I need is I need a light pointing at me right there. The cotton candy grapes are excellent, Cricket. And I think the problem is I have the light here and you can't see it here instead of here. So I also think as a community and as individuals, they tasted like ordinary grapes. I didn't think so, Cricket. I thought they tasted just like cotton candy. I really did. I'm not a big fruit person, but I really liked them. I know, Janelle, but what I was talking about is their Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which is essentially safe pointing, is also essentially a carbon copy of the UN's Declaration of Human Rights. It's not made with those grapes. Interesting. And so it's interesting because the church is saying these human rights are important and they're not enforcing them. They're just using it as safe pointing. Exactly. That's what I'm saying, Janelle. It's interesting. If you look at their website, what they have as numbers 4 and 5 is no slavery and no torture. No slavery and nor torture. Whereas Article 4 clearly says no one shall be held in slavery or servitude. Slavery and the slave trade shall be prohibited in all their forms. Oh, that's so sweet, Sunrise. Hi, Susan. How are you? So it's very different wording than no slavery. No one shall be held in slavery or servitude. Slavery and the slave trade shall be prohibited in all forms. And then also with no torture. What the Declaration of Human Rights actually says is no one shall be subjected to torture or to cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. Sunrise Dawn, you're so sweet. Thank you for that. I'm not sure if they know what constitutes slavery. Well, Amy, here's my question. Who can be brought up in front of a tribunal? Is it just companies? Is it corporations? Is it individuals? And whose responsibility is it to enforce it? Do we need to have police? I don't know the answers to this question. I'm just an old poli-sci major who, Sunrise Dawn, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you, sweetheart. So are we charging the church or are we charging individuals? And what level do we take that to? I'll tell you what, guys. I was in a chat today and someone asked if someone else had unalived themselves yet. Where you start on it is finding a plaintiff. That's been the holdup. Okay, Janelle. The church and anyone who knowingly trafficked and harmed the kids. Mm-hmm. You can put an A in there for actual, Sunrise Dawn, because that's where I was on it. People who ran the RPF too. I don't know. Mike Brown ran the RPF. Didn't he? Didn't he help out? Wow, Janelle. I think they do, Amy. I think they do. It's good to see you, dear. I hope you're well. I agree. I agree, Sunrise Dawn. Yes, so it's our friends. And you have to consider the statutes of limitation. Most things are 6 years. I'm not sure on trafficking. It could be 10. Okay. Okay. What do we do when we see within our own community people breaking these human rights? How do we start doing something different than making threats or asking if people have unalived themselves? Mike and Laura earned my respect as well. Absolutely, they did. I did. And it includes people like Liz Ferris, so it's not easy. Doesn't mean we shouldn't work towards it. Yeah, Janelle, I agree. I agree. So, how do we treat this comment I saw on a live stream has really got me shook, y'all. It seriously got me shook. This started out as a community that I believed had the strength and perseverance and love to work gently and kindly through disagreements. Oh, that's interesting, Janelle. The threats. No, Sunrise Dawn, this was a stream today. Orion is at my feet, sleeping soundly. So the comment scared me because, yes, there is a trafficking hand signal. I am deliberately not saying that, Janelle. Excellent, Susan. Well, I'd rather not. Yeah, I'd rather not say. Regardless, because really, it regardless of whose chat it was in, my position remains the same, is what the actual duck. What the actual duck. I've got seriously nothing if that's the way we're treating people. I'm not sure if it's the same stream or not, Janelle. What I will say is asking that about anybody, I feel, is fundamentally wrong. It was directed at another community member, asking in the chat if a certain person had unalived themselves yet. It is ridiculous, Susan, and it's got me scared. It's got me scared as a moderator. It's got me scared as a viewer. Yes, Janelle. Yeah. Has so-and-so unalived themselves yet? Where these hateful people, exactly, Janelle, that's what I'm talking about. It's way too far. That's inhumane. I don't care who you're talking about. Probably not, Janelle. That level of harassment is fundamentally wrong. It's wrong when Scientology does it. Oh, brain fog. No, Janelle, absolutely not. Furthermore, we need to stand in between those people and the people they're directing the vitriol at, even if we fundamentally disagree with that person. I can believe that somebody deserves to go to jail or pay their price for what they've done, and still stand between them and inhumane treatment. And there are some things that are inhumane. Exactly, Susan. Exactly. Is your back feeling any better, brain fog? I am seeing lots of name calling. Lots of sides being taken. Lots of people feeling attacked. Lots of people feeling attacked. As a community, we need to start coming up with a way to unify against this new threat of the shattering of the community. You saw and heard. If you get surgery, you'll feel. Oh, okay. Wait a second. Janelle says to brain fog, if you get surgery, you'll feel better in about a year. If you don't, you'll feel better in about a year. Oh, Janelle, I'm so sorry. That is what I have heard about the surgery. Cricket, I saw and heard the most heartbreaking example of the pain this community can cause in a stream I saw last week. Gut wrenching. Gut wrenching indeed, Cricket. Sad that it is our community attacking each other. We need to remember the cause. I I agree with the people out there who are saying that this community grew very quickly, and it is no, Janelle, I did not. The community grew quickly, and so divisions are in some way inevitable. But I think I think there's been I don't know. I don't know how to remedy the shattering. I don't know how to bring people back together. I don't know how to unify people. He's a minion of Tony. Tony, who has that restraining order, was in the chat urging contact against the young man who was there with Tori. Oh, you missed it, Amy. Okay. Okay, Janelle. So you're talking about that's sort of what I'm talking about, Janelle. Mm-hmm. Meaning that this was Tori there by herself? How come Tori privated the video, y'all? I'm curious. She let her phone number out when she called the police, so she did it private until it's edited. Okay. You don't chat in the young man's stream. Right, Amy? So we know that there's people in the chats who are stirring up shit. Janelle, I need to understand this comment. I need to understand this comment. Not that one. This one. I need to understand this comment. Okay, Janelle. Thank you. Thank you for that. In case it worries y'all, I generally operate on the rule of keeping my friends close and my enemies closer. My friends close and my enemies closer is the general way I deal with things. So just be aware that I'm not unaware that not everybody in my chat is necessarily on my side. I am taking that lesson deeply to heart, watching much of the drama. If you're I just like inhaling things, guys. I just need to set my stuff down. If you're talking about what I think you're talking about, Janelle, I am in agreement. Let's go back to this list of human rights. All human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. They are endowed with reason and conscience and should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood. It's scary. Was she there alone, Janelle? Where were you, Bubba? Were you off making trouble? Come here. Well, where did I put it now? Oh, I put it right there. Come here. Everybody wants to see you. It's a good time for a break. Come in. That's a good boy. Yeah, Janelle. They need to say gonadhood, maybe. There he is. Orion, come on. Gonadhood. I know, but then we'd be biased against people without gonads, so. Look at that puppy. Yes. Look at that puppy. Is he a good boy? Hiya, puppy. Oh, really? Really? And then Jessica came. I'm glad Jessica came. Maybe that's a little bit better, y'all. She had a couple people. The young man appeared, and a gal walking by stood up and gave him what for. And she told him she was going to pray for him. New Jessica unlocked. Excellent. Well, good. New Jessica unlocked. That is beyond excellent, y'all. How's that working? That might be a little bit better. The girl was from the neighborhood. That's excellent, Amy. That is excellent. Crazies are gonna crazy. I was more concerned for the fact that he seemed to have 180 people in his chat egging him on. Right? An old woman. How was Tori doing? Did Tori handle it okay? Okay, sunrise, dawn. There could be cricket. That wouldn't surprise me. She is ice. Indeed, she is. Woman is unflappable. Unflappable. And not shy about taking control. Yeah. Yeah, she is. Hey. Okay, Bubba. She is very cucumber cool. So, Tori is a legend. So, Article 1, what shall we put in instead of brotherhood? What does that mean? Spirit of brotherhood. Spirit of what? He was a menace. That's scary, Janelle. That's really scary. Is he, who is, he's a streamer that is an acolyte of ZDT. Lovely. Yeah, don't F with Torians, indeed. Okay, Janelle. Lovely, Amy. Well, we all know, and I think I'm a good example of this. Without, well, I can't say this is completely true. Sorry, I didn't mean to make y'all all out of whack. Let's try this. It's annoying me, y'all. It's annoying me. It seems like the drama brings more views, y'all. It seems like the channels that get the most views and the most subscribers are also in the drama. So it often seems so that it's more inclusive. That's all, Susan. So it includes women too, officially. So that it's like, rather than brotherhood, it's personhood, in a spirit of humanity, in a spirit of conciliation, in a spirit of respect and humility. I don't know. I was just wondering if there was a word that could easily replace that word. Exactly, Janelle. Didn't want to throw you under the bus, sweetie. All humankind. I don't know if that evokes the same peoplehood. Well, you've also got to think about how it translates. So it's going to be different in every language anyhow. And be curious to find all the different ways that that word translates to. So, as a community, as an SPTV community, I do not think we have been fellowship. Thank you. Fellowship. Kinship. I like kinship, Susan. It is complicated, Janelle. Politics is complicated. It's always complicated. I like kinship. I like fellowship. Yes, Cricket. And I think it's important to remember that, you know, people define asshole differently. And so it's really hard to not do that. So we've got to figure out how to respond to people who inadvertently behave like assholes, right? I don't know that in this community we've been doing a good job of doing that. Act towards one another in a spirit of not being an asshole. I think the spirit has been pretty much assholery for. I'm not translating Scientology, Janelle. I am reading from the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. That is what Scientology bases its human rights on. So I am reading directly from the source material. Okay. So what's the second one? It's okay. I'm Janelle, I might not have made it clear, or you might have missed it. It's okay. I mean, that's the thing, y'all. It's freaking okay. Like, you misunderstood, or we don't agree, or we look at the circumstances different. That is what's important. Purity culture like Scientology wants everybody to be robots. They want everybody to be rubber stamps of each other. I don't know, how many of you read Wrinkle in Time when you were a kid? Did any of you read that book? Purity culture is terrifying. Terrifying. But we've got some of that going on here. It is absolutely glacial, Janelle. I know. I know. You've probably read it, but you can't remember doing it. Okay. So in the book, there is a scene where they go to a planet where everybody is supposed to be doing everything in the very most efficient manner possible. And they have to do it the right way or else. It's actually an excellent book we should read next for Scientology Book Club. Maybe let's do that. Anyhow, these kids land on this planet and they're walking by, and every child in the neighborhood is out. I know, Janelle. Every child in the neighborhood is out on the sidewalk bouncing their basketball, playing ball with their basketball and dribbling it on the ground. And they can't figure out what is sort of time travel, more planetary travel. But yes. So they can't figure out what's weird about it because all the kids are just out there bouncing their ball. And then they realize that the balls are all hitting the ground exactly at the same time. Everybody is so well trained that the balls are hitting the ground exactly at the same time, which is what's weird about it, right? Every kid in the neighborhood out on their sidewalk and the balls are hitting the ground exactly at the same time. They're standing there dribbling. Weird as duck. So they keep walking and a bell tolls that says it's, dinner time now. It does sound robotic, right? And all the kids go to the door and go into the house, except there's one kid who is still standing in his yard, dribbling the ball out of rhythm, dancing around, playing with the ball, doing all this stuff, and they're standing there in the middle of the street, and all of a sudden, the mom peeps out, terrified, and calls the kid in. That's purity culture, in my opinion. Sort of like that, Amy. I think it predates the Stepford Wives, but I'd have to check. But totally a Stepford Wives. It's totally Stepford Wives. I just, how do we avoid insisting that everyone, which one's 1962, Janelle? Stepford Wives or The Wrinkle in Time? Stepford Wives. Okay. Let me see. She her book was finished, it says, by 1960. Lord of the Flies, if they were all on Ritalin, something like that, Cricket. Stepford Wives, 1975 film. So there's another saying I'm really familiar with, which is for scouts never to get too far ahead of their troops. Oh, really, Amy? That's pretty cool. Well, I don't know if that applies here. I take that back. Yeah, something like that, Janelle. Something like that. Ira Levin, Cricket? So which do you guys want to read next? The Stepford Wives or A Wrinkle in Time? Stepford Wives could be fun. Or we could have a film night. I don't know how we'd do that. Either of them. Wrinkle in Time's probably a quicker read. It's a young adult's book. How do we accommodate? It's very interesting, Amy. Maybe I've never watched them. Maybe I should. How do we accommodate for people who do things wildly differently from us? How do we accommodate for people who believe things wildly different from us? And that means, to some extent, even accommodating Liz Gale's book. You want to do Liz Gale's book first, Janelle? Really, Cricket? Is it worth seeing? How many of you have seen the new Deadpool and Wolverine? Brain fog, I have to apologize to you. In this new location, Soda's not coming over here much. It just came out, Amy. It just released, I think, the weekend before last. My kids are talking about it. There's an interesting thing I'm watching. What are you guys watching that's in the theater? Yes, Amy. In the theater. Amazon Prime. I am sorry, brain fog. You have heard it's good, Susan? This one on Amazon Prime called My Lady Jane. You're really good at doing this on the job and really bad at doing it in your personal life. I can understand that. You'd rather stay home and eat your cheap snacks? I understand that, Amy. I understand that. The theater is indeed expensive. I thought maybe hubby and I could go for a date since the children have already seen it. Ah, yes. Well, it's cheap. You'll watch it when it's bootlegged onto YouTube. Okay, Janelle. I think it's hard in these times to not be politically intolerant, Cricket. Oh, Amy, that's hard, dear. That's hard. I am sorry. It sounds like it's much easier for you to wait until the movie comes out on DVD and watch it at home. I can understand that. There's a lot of allure to that. We've got a really nice TV, so it looks almost as nice on the DVD as it does in the theater. Oh, nice, Susan. I always like supporting small theaters. I feel like there's so few of them nowadays. Guys, we blew through the first Minnesota goodbye, so I'm going to make it right now. You enjoy both those actors, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. I think a lot of both those men as well. I have found them both to be men that are fun and real and talented and funny. I enjoy them a lot. Ooh, the drive-in. That could be fun. We could go to the drive-in. Oh, Amy, that's too bad too. And if it's, see, I like the assigned seats, but it never occurred to me that you can't move. Yeah. Then you can't move. I wonder if the theater could have moved you, or maybe the house was full. It's a really different experience now than it used to be. That's for sure. So the thing I'm worried about, guys, is if we've got people in our community, they fill up and you have to order the tickets online. Exactly. But there's somebody still. You could go to the ticket counter and exchange in your tickets for different ones. I've done that before. Okay, Sunrise Dawn. We really need to figure out a way in this community to stop with the things that are going over the line, because it's damaging and dangerous. And that is a weapon in the community's hands that can then turn in any direction. And it makes me terrified of having a channel. It makes me terrified of having a channel. It makes me terrified of my audience. It makes me terrified to be a mod. It's terrifying that people are being treated this way. But I don't know that it's happening in chat, Janelle. I think it's happening outside of chat. And I mean, and when it happens in chat, it gets handled But then people get personal messages and people send the hate personally. They send the threats. And these are multiple different situations I'm talking about, you guys. I'm lumping them all together. A chatter said it in the live stream. Somebody in chat asked it. Yeah, I bet you that cotton candy wine is calling your name, Sunrise Dawn. Janelle, I am sorry if I have been really unclear tonight. It sounds like I have. Right, absolutely, Amy. That's the best thing to do as a chatter. And so it's important to have good moderators. But we've had moderators come under attack. People will say, well, they came under attack for good reason. I still don't agree with I still don't want to be subjected to that kind of attack. I know you do, Janelle. It's concerning. It's concerning to watch viewers turn on a creator. I've got not quite 1,000 subscribers, and it scares me to no end to watch viewers and creators have a falling out like is going on. I know, Janelle. I know, Janelle. Absolutely, Amy. You unsubscribed and don't listen to them anymore, but I wouldn't say anything about them in chat either. It could happen to any of us. We're watching it happen to creators. We're watching it happen to moderators. I've seen it happen just to chatters. And the hate comes at people. Well, right, Amy? It's really simple. or block them. Or block them. That's simple too. You can block people. There's a block button, folks. It exists. Block people you don't like. The reality is, y'all, I said a couple of things earlier today, and I'll say them here. I am going to like people Sin, how are you doing? It's good to see you. Sorry, guys, I lost my train of thought for a minute. I may wait an extra beat sometimes and see if somebody else speaks up, so it's not always me speaking up. I can't remember what I was saying when Sin came in, y'all. Can you refresh my memory? I don't block anyone for a similar reason, Sunrise Dawn. But most people aren't mods. So if you can't stand somebody, block them. If you're a moderator, you signed up for the job of looking at that shit. Oh, Sin. No worries at all, sweetie. No worries at all. It is so easy for me to get sidetracked. I shouldn't have been looking at the chat, honey. I know better than that. Yeah, if you... I mean, really, people, can we not resort to attacking people when we disagree with them? Yeah, I'm terrible about... I'm really easy to sidetrack. I'm really easy to sidetrack, guys. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Two things that I said tonight. The first one is, and I'm putting y'all on notice, I am going to have friends that you disagree with. And sometimes, what, Sin, what's wrong? Okay, Sin. Yeah. That they're going, that I can have friends that my other friends don't like. That is a thing that happens in real life. That is a thing that happens in real life. I can have two friends that don't get along and love them both. That is something that I have been able to do since I was a little girl. Amy, right? Sin, that's really hard. I hear you. Let's talk about it later. But we need to talk about it now because that's what we're talking about, isn't it? How do you love the person? Where do you draw the line? How do you do that in a loving way? How do you do it respectfully? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And when do you say, I can't condone that activity? And when do you watch your friends become enemies? I think she knows that, Janelle, but I think she's speaking to the larger issue. Indeed, 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 Amy. I understand, Sin. I am terrified. Orion, I am terrified at this moment about wars occurring that put me on the opposite side of people whom I truly love. That is heartbreaking. Yes, that is part of what we do, Janelle. Absolutely. So I will remind you all that this is going to be a place where you will find people here that you disagree with. And you're going to find that you disagree with me. I need to get that really normalized in this space. Yep, Sin. Yep. It's all very complicated, isn't it? It's all very complicated. I am terrified that there are going to be wars that put me on the opposite side of people that I love. With all my heart and soul. I know, Susan. You know, man by the company he keeps may be a good part of. Sorry, Janelle. You know, a man maybe by the company he keeps may be a good part of him, and leaving isn't permanent. We have to allow for growth. We don't have to, but we should. I just, I, you're very kind, Sunrise Dawn. You're very kind. Unfortunately, as we've seen recently, those kinds of relationships can turn on a dime, Sunrise Dawn. Susan, you're so sweet. So I just want to make it really, really clear. Really, really clear. Missed the second Minnesota goodbye, y'all. That I keep my friends close and my enemies closer. Sin, are you sure you want to keep talking about this? Rain Fog, are you still here? I'm happy to talk to you about it later. I can understand how much I've got some ideas. I've got some ideas. I'll put my trained mediator hat on and see what kind of approaches we can think of that will be I always think of when Dolly Parton left Mr. Porter. And her way of leaving was to write, "I will always love you." I know you're. I know you're. I'll figure out how to use it maybe. Right, Janelle? So she wrote that song for him as a way to say goodbye. Probably, I mean, it's such an act of love. Yeah, I can never decide if I like Whitney's version or Dolly's version better. Right? Can never decide which one I like better. I mean, this even informs how are we approaching Scientologists? How are we approaching Scientologists? And Mindy has spoken to this. Dolly, 100%. They're all special. You don't have to pick. I know it's like picking which version of Proud Mary is better, Tina or CCR? Maybe Janelle. See, here's the other thing, guys. Dawn, that's very kind of you. That's very kind of you. I only hope to continue to earn that trust. I hope. I hope. Thank you, Susan. Let's look at this thing. Let's consider perspective here. Because what all of this is about is different perspectives on things. Right? I don't dislike CCR Whitney either. I love Tina and Dolly. I have to admit that I I would go with Dolly and Tina. But still, you can understand why somebody might prefer CCR or why somebody might prefer Whitney, right? We can understand that. What happens is when we can't see the other person's perspective, we seem to object to it. Like their perspective is not real. I think Scientology has these terms. Exactly, Janelle. I mean, granted, this is a pretty benign example, and there are non-benign examples. Some of those non-benign examples are informed by culture, and some tend to be universal. And it's the intersection of those cultural norms that causes problems. Because what might be normal in one culture isn't necessarily normal in another. And apparently, in some parts of the United States, in some subcultures, treating people this way is normal and expected. Clearly. And I think I just went off into left field there, you guys. I know you're Sin. I knew you were Sin. I knew you were Sin. And hey, the problem comes when someone is doing sneaky stuff that not everybody sees. I'm going to have a hard time finding common ground. I I uh I agree, Janelle. Um but I think the way that we learn is by listening to each other's stories. So maybe you can't find common ground with that person, but maybe somebody you trust at a first or second degree can find common ground with that person, right? Maybe you can't find common ground with that person, but maybe I can. And maybe I can act as a bridge. Pick this. Okay, let's see. What is that song Leanne Rimes and Trisha Yearwood did for Con Air? I cannot remember, Sin. And Leanne Rimes and Trisha Yearwood are both just amazing. Pick this, which is better. Don't Leave Me This Way by Thelma Houston or by the Bronski Beat? Uh, 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 uh. I don't know. I mean, it's like asking who sings Natural Woman better, Aretha or Carol? Aretha or Carol? As that old Judd song just came to mind. Love can build a bridge. I hear you, Janelle. How do I get through one life without you? Yep. Right, Janelle? And I hear what you're saying too, Janelle. I'm not saying don't pay attention to the zebras, y'all. I'm not saying don't pay attention to the zebras. I'm just saying not everything that quacks like a duck is a duck. Not everything that quacks like a duck is a duck. That is all I'm saying. We're going to have our third Minnesota goodbye. See who shows up. Why are you disappearing, Sin? Aretha and Carol, indeed. Isn't she? Isn't she, Janelle? I need the subs, though, Sin. It would be so interesting to put the chat in a room together. That would be the experiment. Wouldn't it, though, Amy? Wouldn't it, though? Wouldn't that be interesting? Interesting, Sin. That's so weird. So you're getting like auto blocked or something? That's a but she's not even seeing. Yeah, she's not doing it intentionally. That's terrible. But I'm getting the subscriptions, and that's what's important. Your phone came with it, so you can't uninstall. Thank you, Sin. That brings me to needing. Let me check. Ooh, y'all. Look at this. This is cool. I'm up to 960 subscribers, y'all. 960 subscribers. And I want to report to y'all that I got my first check. I got my first check from YouTube this week, and it was $162. Janelle, it's hard. And so that money will probably go towards well, we can fix that, Sin. It is a lot of work, and I've put in a lot of work. So I'm probably going to purchase that that polarized lens that I think that I can put on my phone and then be able to see through the windows at the org. So I think I'm going to order that. And then the computer. Oh, Susan. Thank you. You guys are so sweet. Thank you, Sin. So the computer is going to arrive Thursday or Friday. Yes, Janelle, it is nutballs. We can talk about it if you want. The computer is arriving late this week. I'll have 2 monitors. My phone will continue to be my webcam, but I think I might need, I'm not sure if I'll need a microphone or not. And I may need lights. So the rest of that will go towards a microphone and or lights. So that is your monthly report of what I've earned. And I will continue to give you guys a monthly report of what I've earned in the spirit of transparency. I didn't get any donations through any other channels except YouTube. Susan is incredibly generous. Look at that, you guys. You guys are all incredibly generous. And I really, really appreciate it. I am actually looking forward to getting monetized and getting my first 4-cent check just for viewership. I think that'll be a lot of fun. That's the next thing I'm looking forward to. It's going to come. I agree. But you know what? I'd rather tell y'all the number than deal with rumors and bullshit, Janelle. I really would. I'm watching too much drama about creators making money. People are odd. I don't want to be the focus of drama, and people think YouTube creators make all of this money. I know that I'm completely entitled to make money. I know that I've put a lot of work into it, but the flip side of that is, guys, I've been doing this for less than 6 months and I'm almost monetized. And most people never get monetized. So people are going to be jealous and they're going to think that it is so much money because they see all this money coming in super chats. I don't think it's, I mean, you're here to share art and make money. You're never going to apologize nor explain the only disclosures for the IRS. I respect that 100%, Janelle. I am not asking. I don't think it should be expected. I support everybody's right to make the fucking money. But yeah, YouTube takes 30%. YouTube takes 30%. But when you're a small creator, the majority of the money that I make, Aaron makes all of his money from ad revenue. That's how he makes money, is from the ad revenue, not his memberships, not even his super chats. It's from the ad revenue. On the other hand, small channels make their money on super chats and memberships. And there's ways to do away with the 30% issue. "97% of creators spend more money than they make on YouTube. It's a bit of a pyramid. I just think we have to normalize getting our money. We're working." Yeah. But I also think it's important to normalize that I'm not raking it in. I mean, I am thankful. I am utterly humbled. His channel is a phenomenon. Aaron is a whole nother level. Yeah. But when people feel like they're the ones funding you, then they feel they have a little more control than maybe they do over Aaron. I don't know. Maybe I'll stop, you guys. Maybe I'll decide this was a terrible idea. I'm going to like people you hate, guys. That's going to happen. I'm going to be friends with somebody you don't like. It's going to happen. This channel is going to have people on that you disagree with. I can be somebody's friend and disagree with them. And I like to keep my friends close and my enemies closer. I don't have influence. That's a good point, Janelle. I don't have influence over those that aren't my friends. So I'll keep them as my friends until I feel like I no longer have influence, in which case we're not friends, right? You've got a good point, Janelle. You've got a good point. I mostly prefer small channels with smaller chats, but I don't begrudge larger or older channels a dime. The word about Scientology needs to continue to get out, and people have to eat. It's not just that people have to eat. There are expenses, you guys. I pay $25 a month for StreamYard, and I've been paying that since February, maybe March. So this needs to be self-sustaining. This needs to be self-sustaining. I need to at least make as much money as I'm putting out. As long as I'm enjoying it, and it's a hobby, I'm okay with that. It's funding itself, but it has to fund itself. Has to fund itself. And I've broken that rule for several months now with the goal of getting monetized. I wouldn't have been able to do it much longer. Sweetheart, I take whatever I need. I'll take the subscription. I'll take the watch hours. I'll take the memberships. I'll take the gifted memberships. I need 40 subscriptions. There has to be a return on investment. Exactly, Amy. Exactly. It has to make sense. So y'all are essentially, all y'all are paying my salary. Xenu Free, you win. You are the first person to come in after the third Minnesota goodbye, which means it's about time for me to get going because I have let this one go on for a long time. How are you doing, sweetie? It is good to see you. Nah, tonight I need to get going. I need to get going. I've kept the third Minnesota goodbye open, hoping that somebody would show up Xenu free. And I'm thrilled that it's you. Really, Janelle? That would be lovely. I will do that. Good night, Amy. You take care. Thank you, Xenu Free. Take care, you guys.